I can't believe a month has gone by since I planted this, and it already looks like this. It looks kind of overgrown and wild, but there's actually almost no weeds in here. So the main crop here is the figs. So there's a fig every 6 feet. These are hardy Chicago. And as I described in the previous video, these are going to be, it's actually not called an espalier, I guess it's called a step over. So it's basically just going to be like a guardrail sort of fig wood going down on this side and on that side. So either side of these poles, there's going to be 1 foot off the ground. There will be a horizontal, more or less continuous branch, but from these different figs, kind of going up and then out both directions. So a T. Each fig will be pruned to a T, and the ends of the T will meet, more or less. So they'll have one continuous run of fruiting wood, or scaffold wood, and then the fruiting wood will come up off of that every season. So obviously I haven't pruned these yet, or trained them, but so this one really just has the one shoot, which is a little bit of a problem. Oh, there's a little tiny one down here. So probably what I should do now is train the big one back and let the small one get some more energy, so I have two. Or that one might be a little bit too low now that I think of it. I may end up wanting to just prune this. Maybe take a cutting, prune it, activate these two buds, and then have them go different directions. That's probably the way to go. The cucumbers are doing great in between the figs. We've been harvesting tons of cucumbers and have lots more to go. The peppers are coming along. Pretty shady for them. I've been trying to prune back everything else and keep them getting some sun, but the leaves are healthy, the peppers look good, but I think to get a lot of production, I'm going to need to bring everything else back a little bit. And the middle planting, so what I did was the middle between these two rows of figs where the poles are, I decided to try, I've been trying, zone pushing stuff for a long time. And my plan, the basic pattern is I'm going to try to push the zone by like one hardiness zone, basically, maybe two, and then some other stuff just for fun. So essentially, these Musa Baju, these bananas are a fiber banana. They're never going to produce fruit, but they are rated for the rhizome to survive, the roots to survive to zone 7, which is the same that the Myoga ginger is rated to. So I have Myoga ginger growing outside. It's been fine for years. It kind of mulches itself and it's completely fine. So I've tried 2 years of planting the Baju outside and haven't had them survive, but I may not have gotten it yet. And my one plant had plenty of pups, so or suckers. So I've got one sort of planted in these little groupings. That one needs some help. Along with the castor, which leads the way and gets pruned back. So you can see I've been through 3-4 times to prune them back. The loquat, which is also a zone 7B-ish. And then the yacon, which will be harvested at the end of the season for propagating and for eating. And then down there, on the right side here, we've got yapon, which should be able to survive in the greenhouse just fine. And then, obviously, I'm not hoping on harvesting any mangoes, but I bought seeds for the hardiest mango, avocado, fuerte, which is one of the hardiest ones that can survive some pretty intense frosts. and hoping to dig those out and move those on to someone who can grow those. And then down there, this one is Feihua, which I'm pretty excited about, Saloa. And that one, maybe we'll be able to make it in here over the winter with some Rime protection. And then on the sides, I planted Sudan grass, just because I knew there was some weed seed in here and I didn't have mulch to mulch it. So the Sudan grass, actually, that's why the earthway cedar is up there. I just seeded that in with the earthway, 2 rows on either side of the bed, and completely takes over the space. I'll let it go probably another foot and then cut it and mulch it, move the mulch over to the other side of the cucumber row, help build the soil. I just love the herbaceous growth of the bananas, and as a cut mulch, they're really just incredible. Same thing with the castor. I've been pruning off all the flowers except for this one I'm leaving so that I can collect some seed. 1 or 2 I can collect seed off of. This thing really takes up some space. The Miyoga ginger in the greenhouse, it gets to be really good size. We are getting a little bit of bacterial wilt now in the cucumbers. They've been in full fruit for a little while now, and I think they're gonna wind down. These cucumbers are always so short-lived. It's kind of disappointing, but it's okay. That's part of the plan. Once their substantial shade is reduced or gone, then it'll be time for those rows of peppers to really take off. And oh yeah, I also have a few of these pomegranates, the Russian pomegranate, in the rows, and we'll see. The idea there is the figs. The fig wood will eventually be sort of a scaffold going like this, and then maybe the pomegranates can be above that. But we'll see. We'll see whether they survive, whether they work. But the Yacon, I think, is a real win for the tunnel, because they cast a lot of shade. You can cut a bunch of leaves off for mulch, big leaves that, one leaf can cover a pretty large area on the ground. It's kind of nice as like a cap on top of other types of mulch. Keeps the moisture in, keeps the sunlight out from the ground. And I don't think, even substantial pruning, I don't think is really gonna impact the tuber yield much. Anyway, that's the update. The great thing about planting this densely is that there's really not much weeding to do. I've come in and done a little bit of a touch up here and there, but essentially almost no weeding. Just mostly the job is instead pruning back the material and just putting whatever material I'm pruning or weeding, I just put it down on the ground in between the rows. And then with all this moisture and humidity and biological activity, it just breaks down super quickly. So cucumbers will be going for another probably 2 weeks. Then peppers, cut the Sudan grass back, give that to the peppers and the figs. The ratio is totally off. I mean, it would be, to have really enough mulch to feed this whole area, I would want probably Sudan grass, another 10-foot width of it, but it is what it is. I put a little bit there. It'll do something good. But instead of having this much productive area and this much biomass, it should be the other way around. But in a greenhouse, you just can't use that space. And I'm a little weary about bringing a lot of hay mulch into the greenhouse, because if you have really lignified hay mulch that doesn't break down, it gets pretty weird over winter in a dryish context, and I think does pretty weird things to the air quality in terms of spores and things like that. So this isn't really a hay mulch, the Sudan grass, because I'm going to cut it when it's green and fresh, and then it's going to be in contact with the soil covered with other stuff, and it's going to break down super fast, go right into the soil, and we won't have lignified material in here. If we're going to have lignified material in here, I'd much rather it be actual wood chips, because that won't get quite as funky. I just have seen in dry context, and you have hay, those clouds of spores coming off of it. Doesn't seem like something that I'd want to be around too much. Anyway, that's the update. The growth is wild in tunnels. Everything just grows so fast.